Syria and CNN's Clarissa Ward, very serious journalist. She's being accused of staging a prisoner liberation in Syria. Of course, she's not being accused of this by anybody in the establishment media that protect each other and, of course, follow all the narratives. But everybody on social media is saying, this looks really phony. This looks really staged. She claimed that they found this guy in a secret prison and just happened to catch the whole thing on video. Here it is.
I can't tell, though. It might just be a blanket. But it's the only cell that's locked. Is he going to shoot it?
The guard makes us turn the camera off while he shoots the lock off the cell door. We go in to get a closer look. It's still not clear if there is something under the blanket.
Oh, it moved. Is there someone there?
I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing. So this guy, this jail had been emptied 5 days earlier. So you're telling me that this guy here happened to hear probably all of the other people being liberated out of this prison by the rebels or whoever, Al-Qaeda forces that came in and liberated, and that this guy just didn't hear everybody else probably cheering that they're getting out of this prison, right? And he goes apparently days, and he hears, of course, these people coming in, they're talking very loudly, and he's still under a blanket in a dark room. Like, don't you think he would have popped out by now?
I thought I saw it move. Is someone there?
Oh, now they turn the light on. Is somebody there? No, there's nobody there. Leave the room.
Hello?
Hello? At this point, why are you saying hello? Why are you saying is someone there? Because you know that somebody is there. This is obviously because you put the guy there. You told him, go in there. We're going to do this whole video.
I'm a civilian, he says. I'm a civilian.
It's okay. It's okay.
He tells the fighter he's from the city of Homs and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Look at her acting.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
He clutches my arm tightly with both hands.
Okay.
Oh, yes, he does.
Does anyone have any water? Water.
Right. Okay. Also, to clarify, this guy has allegedly not had water for 5 days. Okay. Does a person who hasn't had, can you survive 5 days without water? I know you can without food, but can you survive that long without water even? And if you were surviving without water, wouldn't you, you wouldn't look like this and you would not be getting up. So just more ammunition that this is staged.
My. Okay, it's water. It's water. Okay. Okay. You're okay.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay.
You're okay.
I'm Clarissa Ward with CNN. I'm here to
After
save
3
you.
months in a windowless cell, he can finally see the sky. My God, the light, he says. Oh God, there is light. My God, there is light.
Okay. You're okay.
Stay with me, stay with me, he repeats again and again. For 3 months, I didn't know anything about my family, he says. I didn't hear anything about my children. The fighter hands him something to eat. He can barely lift it to his mouth. But his body can't handle it.
Oh, his body can't does that look like a guy who hasn't eaten in this is...
You're okay.
His captors fled during the fall of Damascus. leaving him with no food or water. That was at least 4 days ago.
At least 4 days ago. No water.
I'm shaking. My face is shaking, he says. The rebel tells him there's no more army, no more prisons, no more checkpoints. Are you serious, he says? Surya Harra. Syria is free, he tells him. It's the first time he has heard those words.
Okay. First of all, how do they know why this guy should be so much going on here? By the way, looked this up. You can only survive for about 2 to 4 days without water. So this guy would have been dead for at least 4 days, 5 days, no water. He'd be dead. Certainly would not be able to walk out of there. Would need immediate hydration, immediate medical attention. We'd need that automatically, first of all. Secondly, when they found him in the cell, that many days, I mean, why is this cell clean? So he was allegedly locked in this cell. They had to blow open the door in order to get him out. Where's the feces and piss all over this cell? Like, why is he so clean? Why does he look like he's been well fed and hydrated this whole time? Okay, the other thing is, so this just to me is just obviously staged and faked, and this is I'm sure that prisons are dingy and terrible, and the conditions are awful in Syria, throughout the Middle East. They are here in the United States, and we're a wealthy country, and here we are, a wealthy country, and yet our prisoners are still living in filth and squalor. So I would imagine that prison in Syria is not great. I would imagine it's filthy, disgusting. You're probably going to get tortured and beat, and you're not going to get food. I mean, there's probably a lot of bad stuff that happens in prison. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, no, they're lying about prison conditions. Look, prison conditions suck here in the United States. I'm sure they're terrible over there too. But secondly, or third, I don't know what number I'm on now with this. How do we know what this guy did? I mean, what if this guy was in prison? He was apparently in prison for the last 3-4 months. So they kind of act like this guy has been incarcerated and in a secret jail for years and years under the Assad regime. You know, that he'd been tortured, that Assad was just randomly picking up normal people who did no wrong and hid them in these secret jails and just tortured them just for the hell of it, just because he was an evil man. Okay, this guy says he was there for a few months. How do you know why he was in this jail? What if he was there because he raped women? What if he was in there because he murdered people? What if he was a pedophile? You literally have no idea why this guy was in jail, but you've liberated him, which he wasn't really being liberated. He clearly had already been out. But you still, stage this liberation and are like, oh, all of these prisoners. Could you imagine if China, let's just say, or Russia or Iran or, whoever, or like in the future, Israel, when they finally come to take over the country for real. And they come to the country, they liberate the American people from our terrible government, and they break through all the prisons and they say, everybody out, everybody get out of these prisons. You've been held unjustly by the wicked Biden regime. And now here we are to rescue you. And we're breaking you all free. I mean, I could see this happening under the Trump administration, right? I could imagine kind of like the Black Lives Matter thing where people get really, it's all unjust. No police. Let's get rid of the police. In fact, let's abolish prisons. Let's break out all of the prisoners. They're unjustly incarcerated and they're enslaved in this prison system. I mean, I can see this. And then them literally letting out everybody in prison, not realizing that they've just let out a bunch of violent criminals who raped and molested and killed and, just let them all out. No, they're all good people. Every last one of them. They're all good people. They did nothing wrong. And it was the terrible Trump administration that let all of these people of color in particular, all the white men, they could stay in the jails. We'll leave all the white men there to rot. But all the people, they got to be let out. I mean, this is just the thinking of this. Okay, so she just, she's embracing this guy. We have no idea why he was in jail. I mean, they could have at least put that in the report, this fake report. I mean, they might as well just come up with a fake reason why he was in jail while they're at it. But this doesn't really, here's also a community note on this. Some others saying that that there were some inconsistencies here. The communal cells were not used for individual prisoners. The cell appears unusually clean. The prisoner's energy level seems inconsistent with the claimed 5-day water deprivation. And the person that wrote this note said, I was detained twice in Syria. I think this is staged. Okay. This is also not the first time that Clarissa Ward has been accused of this type of thing. If you remember right after October 7th, she was in Israel and she was running with her camera crew. And there was like there's video of other people, Israelis, just kind of casually walking by while she's running, like, oh, and there's like bombs going off in the background. And then they like bail out into a ditch and she's laying there on the ground and she's reporting live from Israel in a war zone. And people were calling her out saying there was no active war zone. She was not in an active area of war zone. They didn't need to be running and like bailing out into this ditch where she then does a report. I'm on the ground. We are in an active situation. There's bombs everywhere. The Palestinians are coming. They're getting us. They're getting us all. I mean, it was just like the most ridiculous thing. Anyway, she got called out for this one. And people said that she should win an Oscar for her performance of reporting on the ground. Literally, this is a new definition of on the ground reporting from Clarissa Ward at CNN. Meanwhile, also today, American citizen Travis Timmerman was freed by the Al-Qaeda rebels after being detained for months in a Syrian prison. He says he was detained after crossing into Syria on foot from Lebanon, and he claims he was on a Christian pilgrimage, and he says that he was treated well. I'm also suspicious of this guy, but watch this.
So everybody's telling you that you're Austin Tice. They thought that you're Austin Tice first. Did you know about the case of Austin Tice before you were imprisoned?
No.
No. Because he's been imprisoned for 12 years. You've never heard of that?
No.
And what's your work? What did you do? Why did you enter Syria?
I came on a religious pilgrimage. I'm a Christian.
في رحلة دينية أتيت إلى سوريا في رحلة دينية تمام. I'm just saying this for the TV because we broadcast in Arabic. And how did they treat you in the prison?
Well, it was okay. I was fed, I was watered. The one difficulty was that I couldn't go to the bathroom when I wanted to, and so I had to wait on that. I was only let out 3 times a day to go to the bathroom. But other than that, I was not beaten. And the guards treated me decently.
Did you hear any kinds of any kind of torture voices in the prison?
Yes.
You used to hear that?
Yes, daily.
Daily.
Can you describe that?
Is
it women, men, children?
No. I never heard a woman beaten, and I was paying attention to that myself. It did not happen. It's mostly young men.
Young men? Were they screaming?
No.
Okay, so he says he was treated fine. He was able to, he got food and water, and he was able to go to the bathroom 3 times a day. And he did hear people screaming, young men who were potentially tortured, but this report doesn't go on to say exactly, but it sounds like but nonetheless, there's a lot of questions around this guy. People thought that he was Travis Timmerman. I mean, I'm sorry, they thought that he was Austin Tice. He does look a lot like Austin Tice, but that is apparently not Austin Tice. That is Travis Timmerman. His family said that he had disappeared, I believe, like in July. He was in Budapest, and then apparently he made a pilgrimage through Lebanon to Syria. I'm kind of, okay, I suppose I'm sure it's possible. It's like somewhat of a believable story because Damascus and, you want to go see all the places of the Holy Land and whatever, but doesn't this seem a little bit odd and a little bit suspicious? And then they jail him. So clearly the Syrians thought he was maybe not who he said he was, and he wasn't there doing what he claimed he was there to do. Maybe they thought that he was a CIA asset. And interestingly, he goes and crosses into Syria just a few months ago, and it just so happens now Syria has fallen and Assad is gone, and so perhaps this was kind of a CIA operation, and maybe this guy is. That's just, there's no indication of anybody that I've read about saying that this guy is CIA. I'm just saying it. It's totally me, my own thinking. I have no evidence of this whatsoever. It's just a hunch, a feeling that this guy doesn't really. I don't know. Maybe he's with the government. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a clip from the longer, larger show that you can catch Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. That'll route you to the platform where you need to be in order to get the full uncensored show every Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Click on that link, watch the full interview. See you there.